Hey friends, Johnster Monster in our episode of Shadow and Flame with Magic, the podcast. This is episode 5. And today we are going to review Uncanny X-Men Annual 1 of Volume 2, or what I'm just going to call simply Uncanny X-Men Annual 2006. So, if you would join me, I think we can get into this. Burr, 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 burr. So this came out in August 2006. And it's the Prelude to the Wedding of the Century, which I think I'm committed to doing this issue, and then the 3 issues I own leading up to and including the wedding. The inside cover is for X-Men, the video game, which was supposed to bridge between X-Men 2 and X-Men 3. But I can't seem to find what the game was officially called, but it was on the PlayStation 2. And it took me a while to get to it, but once I did play, it was pretty fun, especially like the Nightcrawler scenes. So here we go. Ready? Previously on Uncanny X-Men. After discovering that the devastating effects of M-Day had added more chaos to the continent of Africa, the X-Man known as Storm traveled to her native homeland. Deciding to take a break from her X-Men duties, she remained in Africa to help her troubled people. Meanwhile, the Black Panther, king of the wealthy African nation of Wakanda, had been told that he must find a bride. He searched the entire world for a suitable queen, but finally found her in his own backyard. So the Black Panther has asked Storm to marry him, but will Storm leave her life as a mutant adventurer behind to join this monarch? And what does her family, the X-Men, think about it? And I believe this takes place between issues 14 and 15 of his title. So the title, I Dream of Africa, a special prelude to the Wedding of the Century. Story by Chris Claremont and Tony Bernard, 2 excellent writers. Pencils by Clayton Hendry. Inks, Mark Morales. Colors, Christina Strain, who has a lot of fun this issue. Letters, VC's Joe Caramagna, one of my favorite letters. Assistant editor, Sean Ryan. Associate editor, Nick Lowe. Editor, Mike Martz. Warlord, Joe Quesada. And Peacekeeper, Dan Buckley. The issue opens up with Storm in the wreckage of a building. She's pinned down by some debris, and she's in and out of consciousness. She has a little bit of a flashback of her summoning the X-Men to Africa, to Turkana. That sounds a little easier on the tongue. The X-Men in this issue is Psylocke, Rachel, Cannonball, Bishop, and Nightcrawler. So a pretty decent collection of characters there. As she's in and out of consciousness, she's thinking about her parents back in Harlem. And then she remembers the hotel they were in was hit by some heat, some fire, a missile. And she just collapsed right through several floors. And it's just having flashbacks galore. She sees her parents, and then they turn to zombies, and then they freak her out, and she retreats into her mind. Loved one would argue that if she was seeing her parents, she was already in her mind. We begin her first of 3 flashback sequences with Forge, trying to get her away from this nightmare into some more pleasant thoughts. And her dream sequences are very much like life-death. And we get like a splash of color in the middle of the panel. And then the border of the panel is all white and blue inks. That's a nice touch. Since this is after M-Day, the Sentinels are, what are they called? Sentinel 1s? And I think it was like O.N.E. And I forget what they stood for. But they've located the missing X-Men. They are in Turkana. And they are choosing to not go into Africa as they don't want to start any, they don't want to drag Uncle Sam into another war. Then we see the X-Men are behind some pillars as they don't know, like, their place in this world. Like, can they get involved? But they do got to defend themselves. So Bishop's... Oh, and they're being attacked or shot upon by men on top of a building. And Bishop's at least has, one of his pistol. It's a pistol, but it's the size of his leg. And he's starting to shoot where he can find the source of it. And Betsy thinks she can just flatten the whole block, but Kurt stops her as there's families cowering the houses. Which is a fun way to cause conflict. Is like, oh yeah, the X-Men can easily win, but unfortunately, they got worried about collateral damage. Cannonball asks if Rachel can do anything from a distance. And she's wearing a classic, like, green and Phoenix outfit, except completely doesn't... it's just showing off her midriff. So it's like a short shirt and... I don't know, like a mini skirt or something. And the yellow gloves. Yeah, that's definitely like a mini dress. Mini skirt. They finally find the men on the tower. And so Kurt bamps over there. A 2-page spread for Superman Returns, the video game that I don't remember any aspect of. This is at least the Xbox 360 era now. I wonder if he had to fly through rings. Kurt, being very agile, is kicking people, legs wide apart, toes sticking out, and just like kicks 2 men at the same time from 2 different sides of the room. He just bounces around. He knocks out every single person. And then we get back to Storm's dream sequence where Forge, I guess, was Storm's last real love interest. And so they're just talking about how they were in love and they just ran their course. Storm is, like, during the life death, she was still rocking her 80s mohawk. And he makes her laugh, and he points out how every time... Storm falls in love, she sort of seems to push men, puts her guard up and trying to find where he really writes, like, oh yeah. So she shows her sense of humor, and then she tends to lose her sense of humor whenever a man gets too close. So his sense of humor goes down, guard goes up, and Forrest wishes that they had just ended better. And Storm's like, there was no real problems. It just was their time. And then they see some eagles and they kiss again. We see, and does he get named? The colonel of Turkana's colonel is telling them to just airstrike everyone. He needs those X-Men dead. Oh yeah, Colonel Shitani. Oh, yeah, and so they found the targets of the X-Men, and the Colonel tells them to go over there. Rachel's trying to side probe around, and then she gets hit with a psychic static shrieking, like a million babies burning, which sounds horrible. Especially, I don't know, burning makes you think of a smell, but I imagine she also is just thinking about the plight of it all. And the colorist also has a great moment here where only Rachel's in color and the rest of the team's in black and white. Or shades of gray, perhaps. Soldiers are coming to get them. Bishop is ready to start shooting. Rachel can sense the word Hellfire, which is cute because Kurt's like, Hellfire Club here? And Bishop's like, no. Hellfire is also a type of missile. And then the building gets hit hard. It pretty much is no longer standing, but Psylocke and Rachel got Psy blasts up, or Psy shields up. And they see some more drones, and they're coming back around, so the X-Men know they gotta get moving. If they can just find the source of the leader, they can maybe stop the whole fight. but they have no idea where to go. And now they start talking about, like, well, what about the hotel? Where's Storm? And they're like, well, she must be near the hotel or under it, because now they can see the remnants of the hotel, and it looks like it was 4 floors, and now it just looks like 1 floor, but like squished down like you would do with like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when you're done, and you just press it down. Maybe that's just a me thing. Kurt Worry wants Rachel to scan the building, but she can't, as her brain just gets fried every time by psi static. We get back to Storm in Africa, and Jean shows up in her actual green mini dress, which I just learned recently has controversy over it. And people, I don't know, I guess it symbolizes a lot of cultural aspects and, you know, the practicality of a mini dress, mini skirt. But I mean, it looks nice. She has those Marvel Girl head, eye mask. I guess within that conversation Storm was having at Forge, they talk about how no one comes back from the dead, and she's like, oh, I should have mentioned you, and Jean's quick to say, I'm the exception that proves the rule, Aurora. Storm's shoulder hurts because she's bleeding from the wound she has there. And we cut back to how Storm is just in and out of consciousness. And Jean's like, what's wrong? You're awfully jumpy. And Storm feels like she's being stalked. Jean doesn't recognize anything or sense anything. And next thing you know, they're walking from Africa from a jungle to a concrete jungle. And they're reminiscing about a time when they went shopping. And Jean went to complain about Cyclops, and Storm went to check out the guys. And Storm's like, I wasn't checking them out. And Jean's like, you see anything you like? And Storm can't figure out what she likes. But she sees a young T'Challa and how he was the first boy she ever loved. And then she questions what even is love. And then we see young, boy T'Challa next to Black Panther T'Challa, grown a man. And he's the king of Wakanda, and he's asked her to be his bride. Then we cut back to the X-Men slowly trying to just make headway. And pretty much what they're just doing is finding a threat, taking out the threat, and then trying to regroup. And now they're just in a dead-end alley trying to prevent being shot. Rachel finds a rooftop that's unoccupied, so Kurt just teleports everyone on top of it. But I guess he does it 5 feet up in the air, so they all just crash down. So I don't know what makes these choices, but Bishop goes thunk, Cannonball goes whoomp, Psylocke goes skook, and then of course they fall 5 feet, and then for whatever reason all that weight causes the roof to crack, collapse, and then outside a lady and her 2 sons' living room. And then we cut back to the bar. Jean's like, oh, T'Challa seems to be on your mind. He was Storm's first love. And she was young, so it's young love. And she doesn't think she can fall for a guy, because she's talking about marrying him's a lifetime commitment. And that's what she thought Scott and Jean had. And Jean's quick to be like, we did have that. And Storm's like, well, he broke your heart twice. She's like, well, I died, so it doesn't count. So I guess one of those 2 times is with Emma, right? But I don't know when the other one was. Is Jean considered dead at this point, 2006? Is Morrison... No, but Jean's back in Morrison's run. I'm trying to think. I don't know, it's hard to keep track of Jean. And Storm just has an instinct, instead of thinking about T'Challa, she just wants to run away and hide. And Jean's like, well, that doesn't seem like you. Let's see here. It looks like there's an ad for Stargate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. And it has the 10th anniversary of Stargate. Oh no, catch up to speed before season 10 premieres on July 4th on Sci-Fi. I'd say we watch a few of them. And Storm's like, he's not just a man now, Gene. He's the king of Wakanda. If I say yes to him, would I end up living only to produce his heirs? Will his staff or court or whatever try to control every hour of my day? Or will he just lose interest with so many bright young things throwing themselves at him every day? Which one would think it'd be hard for anyone to throw themselves at the king. Like, he's not like he just, like you gotta make an appointment. Plus it's Storm, like you don't cheat on Storm. And then Jean's like, you've never let any of that happen. I think you're really afraid of being abandoned. You're afraid of family. You never got over your mom and dad leaving you. That's pain as deep as your claustrophobia. Which, you forget about, but Storm does have that as a weakness of hers. And Storm's like, I'm not afraid of my family. And Jean's like, then why do you never try to find them? You played house to the X-Men all the while knowing your own flesh and blood were in northwest Kenya. Hey, are you listening? And Storm's very distracted because all of a sudden the bar they're at is being overrun by wildcats. Pumas, maybe? I feel like they name them here, but... Is that on the next page? Let's see. And Jean's trying to hold them back. Oh, Jackals and Hyenas. It's a very small print because I guess she's saying it to herself. And then Storm, I guess, is trying to maybe come to her consciousness, and then she rolls over and then it falls through another 2 floors, and now like a wooden spike goes through her side. So now she's even worse off, but at least she's not on top of rubble. These 2 guys are going through the debris, and they're just stealing jewelry and money off of dead bodies. And these young kids show up. I guess they're the Colonel's little Simbas, which are just young boys who have guns. And they're going to rob these 2 men who were, pillaging. Then we cut back to the X-Men, and the mother just wants the X-Men to just leave. And they want to know where the Colonel is so they can stop it. But they're thinking if the X-Men fail, the Colonel is going to turn their attention on this family for even helping the X-Men. But the little boy is tired of it all. Like, he does not want to become a Simba because only orphans become Simbas. And the mother's like, exactly, they're going to kill me for sure. And then your boys are going to turn into soldiers, child soldiers. But the boy just wants to go to school. So he's like, yeah, the Colonel Shitanti's over there in that giant, still standing tower of a building. And the boy's like, hey, when you kill him, make sure everyone can see his body, which is very oh. But that's how you do it. And then we get to the pages of why I bought this comic. And Storm's thinking, the more I run, the more I wonder, who am I really trying to escape? Who's beast in the bar? Jean? Myself? And then all of a sudden we get Kitty Pryde in her classic black and yellow school uniform. I'll go with option C. Kitty? Yep. Welcome to Storm's nightmare, Kitty Pryde. Hope you survived the experience. I do like how Storm's memories of these people or visions of these characters are all in character. This isn't a joke, kitten. A woman who controls hurricanes is afraid of her own shadow. I'm supposed to take that seriously? As if. Oof. What do you know about fear? I know what you and Wolvie taught me. I came to the X-Men scared of my own power, but you got me to push through any obstacle in my way. I mean, you are like a second mom to me. And you are precious to me, Kitty. So are the X-Men. But they are all part of the life I've made for myself. I came back to Africa. I learned of those who came before me. T'Challa's line goes back generations. Everywhere he walks in Wakanda, he's surrounded by family history. Oh, shoot. And Kitty's changing costumes. And she got into her Arrow outfit, which I think she only wore in God Loves, Man Kills. And now she's in her classic Excalibur blue outfit. And Storm continues, I have nothing like that. For all the strength my X-Men family gives me, on some level I still stand alone. If I have a daughter one day, I want her to sing songs my mother sang to me, but I can't remember them. So much has happened to sweep my history clean. And then the jackals and the hyenas show back up, but they're more human-like now. And Kitty's like, oh boy, which as a Quantum Leap fan, I'm always a fan. And it's a shame the new Quantum Leap doesn't. I think they're trying to give that Ben character something, but it'd be nice if he was saying, oh boy. It might be a little cheesy and old-fashioned, but it's Quantum Leap. Like, let's do it. And also, just give Scott Bakula a truckload of money, or deposit a lot of money to his checking account. As who wants a truckload of money just pouring out? Anyways. So Kitty says, oh boy, you must be getting close to the truth again, because here comes your subconscious. And Storm's like, glad to see all that psychiatry classes did not go to waste, kitten. She is right, of course. These beasts spring from the darkness within me, and I would not live another day in fear of my own shadow. Which I guess is cute because it's Shadow Cat. Isn't this your cue to start running again? And Storm's like, and leave you to fend for yourself? I think not. And she goes from just wearing like civilian clothes to, which I guess like a Tomb Raider outfit or a relic hunter, most likely, where just like short shorts, a t-shirt, and a shirt just that goes over that one. And then Storm dons that classic all black outfit with the gold trimmings. And they just start wailing on people. And Storm takes note of the Panther God monitoring the situation as it stands up. And Storm's like, you know what? I'm going to end this. I see you watching me. And so she just lightning bolts the animals. And he's like, stay back. I have no need of rescue. I will fight my own battles. Do you hear me? And Kitty's just on the ground. And Storm continues, you search a child, Panther spirit. So know this, if I accept his proposal, I will face him as his equal, and I will be accepted as his equal by all, or this is as far as it goes. Kitty whispers, like, are you sure you want to make that thing mad? But good for Storm. Like, that's what Black Panther needs. That's what I need too. And now we see in this, like, basement, these group of people, men have been following her using a mutant detector. And they're going to... Oh, and I guess one of them's like, want to see her come alive? And he's going to, like, wiggle the spike in her abdomen. And Storm knows that these men are here to kill her. There's a commercial, ad for Marvel Mini-Mates. And it's like Magneto, Juggernaut, and a very cute helmet. Morrison, or maybe Frank Quitely, Wolverine and Cyclops, and a Lion Beast and Jean with a trench coat, which I only got 2 mini-mates. It was the Kitty Pryde of Beasts with the Astonishing X-Men set, and then a Excalibur set with Captain Britain and Kitty with her blue outfit, 2 different Lockheeds. Pretty great set. The Astonishing X-Men one had like invisible legs to represent her phasing. And I don't mind, like, those legs are broken now, and I try to super glue them, but now it doesn't stand up so straight. Anyway, so Storm tries not to kill them, but recognizes these little murderers are what they are, and she doesn't have the luxury to play it safe, so she lightning bolts them all to death, which is pretty intense, because it's like, I guess Storm's not above killing, but I mean, I guess she was hurt, so she needs to act quickly or lose her position. And then by killing them, the lightning burnt off the shaft that impaled her and cauterized the wound, but still. Oh, actually, no, I guess the boys aren't dead, because 2 of them are these slowly coming up, but their guns are destroyed. And one of the boys wants... Oh, it's the same boys from earlier who harassed those soldiers. And they want to take her out while she's still weak, and she's like weak and creates a tornado, and I'm sure she doesn't care where those boys land from there. And then thanks to the tornado, the X-Men can see that Storm's okay. And there's some more missiles coming, and Cannonball goes and destroys the missiles, so now the Colonel's freaking out as he doesn't have his little Simbas, and he also doesn't have his air power anymore. And then the tornado force winds come through the buildings, knocks out all the colonel's men. And Storm's now confronting him like, why? Why are you doing all this? Like, what motivates you? And the colonel's like, I don't have to tell you anything. But these men have been looking for you. And Storm's like, me for the last time, why? He's like, because you stupid girl, I'm your uncle. And it's like, what? And then we cut to the Great Rift Valley, northwest Kenya, and the X-Men are meeting Storm's African family on her mother's side. They've dropped off the colonel to the tribe. Shitanti led them to a hidden village in the valley that spawned the human race itself. The town was old long before the writing was ever conceived. Here the wisdom of ages was kept alive and sung by people like this woman, someone who I've never dared hope to meet, my grandmother. And she's descended from a royal lineage reaching back to the dawn of humanity. The power in her family passes from mother to daughter. But Storm's mother just was rebellious and then left, for America and had her and fell in love and had her. And her people pray that, Storm was safe from Shitanti, and all this time grandmother knew my heart would draw her home eventually. And Kurt's like, well, this is your side of the family. Does the wound still cause you pain? And Storm says a little, but even that feels welcome now. Back in Turkana, under that rubble, my pain was how I knew I was alive. In any case, there's an older wound to my heart I should attend to, but it was simply enough to finally heal it. And Betsy's like, what does that mean? And Storm, close up on her, it means, Betsy, that I owe the King of Wakanda an answer to his question. Storm's story continues in The Wedding of the Century. Century. And that was Uncanny X-Men Annual 2006. Pretty good story. Mostly it's just fun for the flashbacks. And I imagine for anyone who's like a Black Panther fan who's like, who's this Storm lady? Like, what's her story? And in a double-sized issue, which was rated A, whatever that means, it was $3.99, and it was $5.75 cans. I butchered that joke from Turtle Soup, but pretty great. And so we will get to the next issue of Black Panther I had, which I was going to try to do tonight, but the issue I read referenced the annual, so I was like, well, let me just do this. Why not? If I'm going to do a little theme series of episodes, I might as well go all out. So, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you would give 5 stars and subscribe, that would really help the podcast grow. And thank you so much for listening to episode 5, Uncanny X-Men Annual 2006. And hope you come back for our next episode. Oh, and if you'd like to follow me, I'm on YouTube and Twitter as Jackal SIII. And I just got a win on Fortnite with my Chrome Punk. And I got I'm re-downloading Rocket League because I just completed the 8 of like the 12 the 8 required mission quests to unlock the Whiplash in Rocket League. So I'm like, well, I better download Rocket League so I can claim that and maybe add that to my next video. But yeah, I'm rocking the Castor skin and getting excited about the end of the season, even though I won't be able to watch the season finale and it's bumming me out. But we're going to be going to what's that place in upstate Montana? It's going to escape me, but we got to go through Great Falls to get to it. And but they do a fun thing in December where you get to ride the train and meet Santa. And we did it last year. We're doing it again this year, and it should be a pretty fun time. It's up on the Highland. Oh, I thought it was gonna come to me. Anyways, so that's a little bit of what we're doing. But all right, everyone. Well, that was episode 5. Thank you so much, and see you. No, and hopefully you'll hear from me soon. All right, everyone. Bye.